Welcome back to the state of the Xbox Empire. It is I, the host of this here endeavor, Nathan, one Mister, voiced by Nathan on Twitter, if you know where I am there, and joined my ever longing
Longful. So intimate, Nathan.
longful for the Xbox Series X. Co-pilot is one Mister Downey Reese. Downey, welcome back.
Greets Cooplings, man. What's going on?
Oh, just new consoles on the horizon again, and we've got all these rumors about price speculation and who's going to go first, all that kind of stuff. That's what's going on.
Did you listen to PSXP at all? Do you ever?
I have not yet listened to the current one.
Devin made apparently there are rumors that vacuum cleaner of a PlayStation thing might actually be the console.
That's kind of what I've heard as well. Let's talk about that for a second. So, the Xbox One, when it was originally released, was panned for the size of the VCR.
It was a VCR, yeah.
That it was. But now this thing is coming out, and it legit looks like a vacuum head. All you need is the stem. In fact, I'm sure you could buy a peripheral to put your cords into it to run it up to your TV, and it'll look literally like a vacuum.
Think of it like with
there.
PSVR. You've got like the box and the cords and then the headset.
But yeah, if this is legit the actual design for the PS5, I don't want to hear anybody like praising it about how amazing it is and how revolutionary it is, because Xbox did it last time.
I mean, look, I didn't necessarily want to start the show just throwing bombs PlayStation's way. And you know what? Maybe it's awesome. Like maybe there's some amazing reason for it to look like that.
Maybe it actually is vacuum.
But I got to tell you, like first impression, I'm like, ooh, I'm never buying that. Like, when they first showed it, I was like, there's no way. Like, like all dev kits, right? You're like, it's a dev kit. Like, there's no way. And then to hear dev go, that actually might be it. I'm like, you've got to be joking, right? Like that can't actually be it.
Yeah, I'm hoping not.
Is there some technological reason that it would look like that?
I just think like
a viewfinder or something.
All right, so the last E3 press conference should have keyed us off on this, because they were being all artsy and fartsy and all that kind of stuff around it. And now they're wanting to have this sculptured piece of something with a big old V in the middle to indicate 5. And I don't know. I hope that this is just a rumor. This is
Maybe
just
the entire thing
concept.
is like a heat sink, and like at all angles, like air just blows out of it.
They're trying to avoid that red ring problem. They're trying to make it quiet. Like my PS4 and my PS4 Pro are always jet engines. Maybe this is the only way that they can do it, by having these huge, powerful fans in there or something. They're super quiet.
I don't know, man. Like that is something else. So like when the Series X was unveiled, I told you it was bold, and like this was at the time where I thought it was actually a tower, like the size of a tower. Now we know it's like, it's not like as small as like an Echo, but it's like a little bit bigger than that. It's not that big, right? It's not mad. Like you could hide this behind your TV very easily, so like I'm all in on Series X now. And like, it's just a square, and it's nice and it's chic, and it's got this little vent and a little green light. Like I'm good with it. Mm-hmm. If these two things go head to head, like I feel like the box art alone has a distinctive advantage, right? Like nobody's going to walk in and be like, hey, you see that thing with all the blades and things coming out all different angles? I want that thing. Right? It's like a mousetrap or something. Like, what is it?
I mean, I don't know. I don't want to go too far into this rabbit hole, but I do. I am right there with you. It is just not aesthetically pleasing.
No, it's not.
The PS4 had a good look, to it. The PS3, going back to the piano design, was the original release on that was that big old honking beast that I have in my basement still. I can't see them honestly coming out with this, and if it is like this,
it's
then
so against like their entire company.
Yeah,
they've always done like sleek, like it's always like slanted edges, right? Like rounded corners. Like this is not
Spider-Man font.
Yeah, this is not that. Oh, who knows? Yeah. We'll see.
But we will see a traditional looking box with the Series X, because as we have already seen some of the concept design of it, we haven't actually seen the box itself yet. Like no one's held it in their hands as far as actually showing us a proper photo. But we do know that it will be more of that rectangular shape that we would come to
Yep.
expect, and we know that it'll work vertically or it'll work horizontally. Whereas the PlayStation looks like it'd be more of a horizontal only if it is that design. Um, but who knows?
I'm going vertical, man. I want the little monolith. I'm just gonna sit it right next to my little TV, and it's gonna be like so, like, cause it's thin, unlike so it's gonna just fit right there, right on the edge of my little stand over here.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna look
I can see
amazing.
that.
Yeah.
It'll look great. So Mr. Donnie, tell me what you've been playing.
Hang on a second. I got to reply to Devin. He's like he was chatting to us on Mixer. I see him on Mixer, and I guess he thought we weren't seeing him, so because he switched to Twitch, so it was weird. Man, what have I been playing? Okay, I'll read you all the games. You tell me what you want to talk about. I have been playing Zombie Army 4, Far Cry 5, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, Life is Strange, Borderlands 3, Bleeding Edge, and I have purchased the Division 2 and the expansion, and I have never even played it, and I totally bought the expansion. I've never played the first one.
So let's talk a little bit about the Division 2 and then go about that Bleeding Edge a little bit.
Ooh.
So I also have Division 2, and I had the Ultimate Edition, and I didn't put more than like 3 hours into it since it came out. And I bought the $3 edition just to have it digitally and be able to hop back into it because of that stupid sale, which is amazing. So I am right there with you. If you are wanting to get in there, I would be glad to hop in and possibly try to.
I need
team up
somebody
with
to
you at
show me
some
the
point.
ropes. I was going to get in last night with Garrett and Sean, but apparently when I bought it on my phone, and this happens to me quite often, I think it's the game sharing thing that I have with Kevin.
Mm-hmm.
It tells me it's installing, and then I get to my box and nothing is installed.
You need to make sure you have your settings checked. I think it's on the app to set where you want your remote install location to be.
But I think the issue is that my Xbox is Kevin's home console, and Kevin's Xbox is my home console. I think that's the issue. Because it is in the app. I've went through all the settings in the app and everything. I am set to automatically allow and to turn on and to download to the X and not Kevin's S and all of that. But it happens often. Like I will hit something and here's the thing is I'll come home and I'll see it on my dashboard. I'll see the icon. And I go, great, I'm ready to play. And then I'll actually sit down and want to play. And it's like, nope, come back in 4 hours when you can play the Division 2. It's just like, man, xCloud, I need you. I got to get into these things a little faster.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that one. I have to look into it a little closer. You might even just need to go into the website and make sure that there's no settings in there to change to make sure you're pointing to that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, so what piqued your interest?
Oh, dude, it's just the news, just the buzz,
Buzz.
I had,
I mean, you got the edition with the Warlords expansion, right?
I just bought the Warlords expansion. So
Okay.
I bought the $3 version of Division 2, and then I bought Warlords expansion because I had leftover money. I bought Resident Evil 3 for Kevin and I, and I had turned in a bunch of stuff and had a bunch of credit, had a little leftover, and I'm hearing all of the buzz, not just from our friends. They're all playing it, so that's absolutely present. But like the journalist media that are going hands-on at these previews and stuff, they keep raving about how great this expansion is. And I don't know why, because like, having never played it, I can't tell you that like I'm diving in and consuming all that is the Division. I don't know. I'm honestly just kind of taking their word for it. Like everybody's loving it. I was interested in the first one, but it was that whole Destiny-like grind multiplayer thing that I didn't quite understand, that I don't really want to do. Like I really just want to play the campaign, which I've always heard that like you can still play these things single player and play the campaign. But I've had some, Kevin and I have played Zombie Army. I've done, World War Z. Like, so I've had some success playing some co-op multiplayer campaign stuff, which is what I would really like to do with this. Apparently the story is really, really good. I like the whole occupation angle. So I don't know. It was like, Nathan, ultimately I'm into this like $23 for the expansion and the thing. So like, it's a flyer. Like
You've paid more for less.
Exactly. A lot more for less. So it's like, it can't be that terrible of an investment.
Right. So the first Division was really fun. I played that thing all the way through.
What was it? It's like the Dark Zone or something.
So they had like the PvP area was called the Dark Zone. So you could go in there and then you would be able to get good loot out of there, but you would risk
losing all your stuff.
Losing your stuff.
That kept me away from ever playing it. I was like, yeah, that sounds terrible.
It was a fun area. You'd want to stay out of particular spots, and if you see somebody, you'd want to hide around if you're not ready to, take them on. But that was really pretty cool thing. And when you wanted to get evac, everybody would know that you're getting evac. So if they're in the area, they could come try to attack you, and you'd have to like defend your position for like 90 seconds before they came. So it was a really fun concept. The story itself was kind of forgettable. There's a lot of bullet spongy elements to it. It's not like a tactical type thing like Ghost Recon used to be. It's more of the MMO ish, Destiny ish take
That
on it.
always kept me away from it.
But it is fun. So I need to give Division 2 some more time. And now that you have it, maybe we can link up and play a little bit there because you're probably farther along than I am. To be honest, I
Not
got
even.
to the White House and that's it.
I installed it last night. Like I just because I was gonna play with Sean and them for the first time. They're like, "We'll show you." See, here's the thing that scares me, is I watch people play it and they pull up this menu, and they've got all these different options, and it's like boots and arms and vests and things, and then there's a trunk, and then you tab over like that stuff. I start to get lost on. It's like I just kind of want to play the game. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm like that way with all. I'm like the opposite of Dev. I'm that way with everything. Like I want the like quick loadout button. Like why equip best thing possible, go shoot stuff faster. Like that's all that stuff. I don't know. I always feel like I'm doing it wrong, or like if I don't understand all of the stats, it's like I'm
Mm-hmm.
doing it wrong, and that just kind of makes me not want to do it to begin with.
I see that. Uh, it's definitely one of those games where it has the looter shooter aspect to it that some people like. So if you're familiar with Borderlands and stuff like that, where they have the little drops that come up and you see like, ooh, that's a purple that just dropped or something like that, kind of gives that little bit of a rush of endorphins when you see those happening. So that adds to that kind of aspect where you have a different armor that you wear and things like that. I would be surprised because as a person who likes Zelda, right, you have to have a big old inventory management system for all that cooking stuff and all that stuff you have to carry around for the different missions that you
I mean, I
do.
guess I've never found. Maybe it's just because I'm engrossed into that environment, but I've never found that as daunting to learn. It always kind of makes sense. Like you cook chicken with butter, milk, eggs. Like like it's logical to me. I guess I don't understand it in so many other games, especially like. And when I say so many other games, because he's in the chat, I mean Destiny. Like I don't understand anything about Destiny at all. And the blue and the red and the yellow and the purple and this one, but not that one, and the light level and like that stuff, that makes no sense. Like you have to. It's a different language. You have to learn that.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, let's continue on and talk a little bit about Bleeding Edge because I also played Bleeding Edge
Ooh.
beta this past weekend.
Yeah.
What did you think?
I loved it. To be quite honest with you, I really did. I don't want to like sound like I think it's like the greatest game in the world. I don't, but I really loved what it is. You may have seen my tweet about it. I compared it to. I think this could be. Let's temper ourselves a little bit here because, these are different fan bases. I think this could be Xbox's alternative to like Splatoon. I get crazy amounts of Splatoon vibes when I was playing Bleeding Edge, and that
And
is
I've
to
never played it.
say that I was playing a multiplayer game, which is what I normally don't play, by myself without a group of friends, and I was having a lot of fun. And really, the only multiplayer game that I know that I've done that with any sort of regularity is Splatoon. And specifically, I'm not sure what they call it anymore because it's like a week ago, but the checkpoints or the
Hmm.
landmarks, like where you're holding zones, that
The
feels
objective points.
that feels a lot like Splatoon. So in Splatoon, you're always painting the level to hold, to hold position and win.
Hmm.
So you're not painting the level, but it's very similar. The characters are a lot of fun. I like them all. I think they all have these really cool, definitely these different designs. But I'd be very interested in learning like their backstories. It's always going to be compared to Overwatch, as a hero shooter. I was kind of thinking like Twisted Metal. Like all these characters are a little like off. And I would love if they had like these little Twisted Metal stories to them because that would make me play. Like if they had, like Twisted Metal used to have like a very little small like campaign tutorial
Hmm.
where you go through like 8 or 10 missions, you'd learn something about Sweet Tooth and stuff like that. I would love if Bleeding Edge had something like that for these characters because they all look very crazy and different, and they have like this punky, steampunky like edge to them. I don't think I'm really good at it. I definitely didn't get. I didn't play with any team like more than once. I played with no friends. I tried that day to find folks to play with. Couldn't get in with anybody. So I basically focused on tanks. That's always been my play style. I like playing heavies, doing some damage. I like Gizmo, the character, most. It's just in terms of character design. I thought she was really cool looking. Hard to play with. Doesn't do like a whole lot of damage. She's a range character, but she's also kind of slow. And like that ninja that they've got was boss. Like that, he was tough. He was tough out there trying to beat them. But from what I played, I didn't play it a whole lot. I think probably 8, 10, 12 matches maybe. I played for a couple hours. I had a lot of fun with it. I really did. And I dig it's almost like a Crackdown, Sunset Overdrive type style, which I like. A lot of people I know are Xbox Drive folks had talked about the style. I don't know, Ryan in particular wasn't a big fan of it. I guess I would be the opposite. I was favorable in the style. I think it looks great. And it's cool. It was a surprise. I think it was better than I ever anticipated. Like when they announced it, I was like, yeah, not for me. Give me more, Hellblade. Like, what are you doing with this thing? And now that I've played, I'm like, you know what? I absolutely will, because Game Pass, I will absolutely down that on my console, and I will absolutely play it, more than a week. Like that's the type of evergreen game that you can just kind of play. And that's what I was thinking when I was playing, again, going back to the Splatoon thing. I may not play it religiously to be like great at it, but I might play it like with you and Josh, and Mo, if we can ever get in like monthly or bi-monthly or something like that, just to spend a night playing it, because it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, so like you, I wasn't really expecting a lot when I went into it. So I went through the tutorial and I was like, oh, okay, this is kind of cool. I like the art style a little bit. I like the vibe, the character designs. Like I don't really like much of the character designs except for like the ninja guy. The rest of them are kind of like real out there for me.
Did you see the tank man with the big fat girl? She's got like the saw blades for hands that she rolls around as a motorcycle. I was like, what is this? It's all Borderlands-ish, like crazy designs. Cool.
Yeah, it definitely shares some of that same DNA, it feels like, with that for sure. But it does have some, some interesting pieces when you look at the just like the team dynamics, right? So it is like that hero brawler, I guess we'll call it, where you have your healers, you have people who have their ultimate abilities, and if you team those up with other people and you all do your ult at the same time, you're going to wipe out the other team. And just kind of cool to see how that works. And like with the ninja guy, you could mark down people, and then if you took them out within a certain amount of time, you had like a boost to yourself for like another 10 seconds. And then you could like do the little star thing to them and slow them down for other people to hit them too. So yeah, it was interesting. I think that when it does come out on Game Pass, I will definitely give it more of a look. I only actually played through the tutorial and then 1 or 2 matches, just to kind of get a feel for what it is, because it was, just the beta. And I feel like as far as the beta aspect goes, I didn't have any issues.
No, I didn't either. No, I played flawlessly.
Yeah. So I think it's a really promising start for what we see from, forgive me, I can't think of the name of the studio.
Ninja Theory.
Ninja Theory, yes. So I am excited to see where it goes and how it finishes out. And we know that they're also working on the Hellblade sequel at the same time. So,
and
you
like
get the best of both worlds.
That weird like experience thing that they were talking about, like with mental wellness and all that stuff. I'm not sure if you saw any of those. They've got this whole other thing that they're doing too. That's, I'm not even sure if it's a game. Like they announced it like a game, but it might not even be a game. They've got a lot of things going on over there.
Yeah.
So,
okay. So that's kind of what you've been playing. Anything else in that ether that you want to discuss? Have you seen Sonic, by the way?
No, I'm not going to go see Sonic.
I was actually going to go see Sonic today, but I'm recording this podcast with you instead.
It's a better decision. You're making good life decisions.
It has been it's the highest grossing video game adaptation film.
Good for it.
Or opening weekend, at least. Opening weekend.
I don't care. I've never liked Sonic. I mean, call it Nintendo, call it what you will. I don't. I mean, that's not to say I don't like Sonic. Like I played Sonic Mania. It's good. And I played like Sonic Generation, stuff like that. But like the character, I don't want to see Sonic on screen. Like I'm good. I'm good with that. Zombie Army 4, I'm having a lot of fun with. And Kevin and I have played it. I've played it by myself, played it with randoms. And it's quite good. It's Left 4 Dead. It's
That's
zombie
by
shooter.
the people that do Sniper Elite, right? Same team?
Yes.
Same developer?
Yep. And it's fun. Guns are good. Environments are really good. Like I was really impressed and I kept showing it to Kevin. Like, man, there's a lot of detail in this that I don't remember being in games like that of the past. But it's there's I don't know what to say about it other than it's Left 4 Dead. I
Hmm.
love Left 4 Dead and have very fond memories playing Left 4 Dead 2 on Xbox 360. So that's definitely in my wheelhouse. If you like Left 4 Dead, you got to get this game. I think you'll love it. It's stupid funny. Hitler raises the dead. You shoot all the Hitler things,
Uh-huh.
but it's good. It's a lot of fun. And then, like I said, all the other ones are like old game is old. I'm replaying except for Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, which I talked about for like 40 minutes with Kevin a few weeks ago.
Which I
So,
haven't really given as much time to that lately either because, Apex.
oh yeah, yep, the addiction continues.
It's a new season, man. I'm going to be gone for a whole week and I have to get my level up. Um, yeah, I'm addicted. I gotta break that cycle at some point. But I do want to get back to playing Kakarot. I do want to actually go and finish Kingdom Hearts 3 at some point soon. Which for me, the next big release that I'm looking forward to is in April 10th, with Final Fantasy 7 remake,
Mm-hmm.
which is on the other platform. But I'm a huge Final Fantasy fan, so I'm just gonna go ahead and tout that a little bit. Uh, I I did want to mention that since we last talked, Final Fantasy 15, the Royal Edition, became part of Game Pass, and I put so much time into that game. I put like probably over 90 hours into that one. I got the 1K on it before all the DLC hit, and I haven't gone back to it since. But I loved that game. It was a fantastic story. If you, dear listener, are into a Japanese-esque story that you want to see, obviously it's just a Final Fantasy game, so it's kind of a little quirky at times, but it's got a really heartfelt story at the core. Uh, really recommend that one. It's great. And there's a lot of content. If you enjoy that, there's an anime that they did that kind of tells the story of some of those guys that he's with, Noctis. And then there's also it's kind of a lead in, but it actually takes place like after the prologue or during the prologue of the game, the Kingsglaive movie. So there's a lot of lore that you can get and pull in from these external sources as well. Plus, Florence and the Machine had that amazing song, which is the theme
That's
song
yeah.
for the game. So a lot of greatness with that game. I just wanted to tout that a little bit because it is again in Game Pass, and we'll be getting a lot more Final Fantasy games in Game Pass within the next month or so. So be sure to watching that for y'all Xbox folks on Game Pass. Also, like today or yesterday, as we were recording this, Ninja Gaiden 2,
Yep.
the 360 game, was added to Game Pass,
Yep.
which I've never played. Those were like the original games, which were like controller throwing type games to me. And I'm like, I'm not going to play this. I don't want to be frustrated. But if y'all like Bloodborne and all those kinds of games that are frustrating, give Ninja Gaiden a try.
Well, they just added just to piggyback off of that. Then they had like Yakuza and a bunch of
Mm-hmm.
other stuff too. It was like a Wasteland. I should have wrote them down now that you said it. I didn't even think about it.
Yep, Yakuza's also out there and some other good stuff. I mean, also, I think this was already out there last time, but probably the biggest game in Game Pass is GTA 5,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is a recent addition there, which is I was really surprised to see it come in there. But at the same time, the game is old. Like it was out on the last generation and it was
Yep.
remastered for this generation, so it is old. So it doesn't really surprise me that much, but it is probably the biggest game
They're
in there.
almost 1-to-1 copies sold with consoles. Like it is so close.
Uh huh.
It's
That's
insanely
crazy.
close the way you sound like that. All right, so hang on a second. I gotta pull this up because I don't want to feel like I've missed an opportunity. Right, so there's Fishing Sim World, Indivisible, Wasteland Remastered, Wolfenstein Youngblood, Final Fantasy Royal Edition, Death Squared, and Ninja Gaiden 2. All just recently came to Game Pass with Yakuza 0, I think, on the way soon.
And by the way, for y'all on PC, and if you're Game of Thrones fans, and if you're enjoy bored with video games, Devolver Digital put out a Reigns Game of Thrones, which is on PC for Game Pass for PC. So you can check that out and download it. It's like a card game based on obviously the television show. So if you're interested in that and you got a PC, check that out as well. And also, since we last discussed things, Donnie, one thing I wanted to touch on was I was in the Android version of the
XCloud?
xCloud beta, yeah.
Yeah.
And so I updated settings to the iOS version, and then within a day, it was accepted into there. We only have one game
Let
that
me
we
ask
can
you a
play over
question.
on iOS now.
If you've already been accepted to xCloud,
Mm-hmm.
can you just download it and use your account on iOS and like you're already in, or is it a separate approval?
It's like a separate approval because you have to go into your settings and like re-register, and it'll say, "Hey, you registered for Android," and then it'll have the iOS option to register for iOS, and then you'll get the approval email whenever it cycles through. It will still leave your Android option available, so you're not like kicked out of the Android program. This it just cycles you into the iOS program, and I'm guessing that it's with Apple's requirements on testing and betas, they couldn't put all the content in there because there's only the Master Chief Collection. Which I wonder if they were being facetious in some way because the original story of Halo was that it was going to be an Apple game
Oh
that was going to
yes.
be on the Apple system as an RTS. But of course, and now it's the famed Microsoft shooter.
The reason I ask, you
Um,
may have seen, but I recently just bought an iPad.
iPads is the way to go, man. I haven't played it on my iPad yet. I did install it. I played it on my phone. I bought one of those little. I don't have the box in here.
It seems like
One of
the
those little
support.
adapters.
It seems like support for iPad and Apple TV will come faster than native like Chromebook. So like my Chromebook, like my Slate, for example, it runs the app because it sees it in the App Store, but the
Hmm.
app actually hasn't been available for Chromebooks yet. Or so the Slate, like you'll understand, the Slate is like a hybrid.
Yeah.
It lives in this quasi both. It's a mobile device and a Chromebook.
Uh-huh.
So I can play it on there, but I can't play it on my Pixelbook. But it doesn't run very well in Slate. Like I've gotten pretty good. Like I've been able to play like a level of Gears of Madden, but the
Uh-huh.
app is always like crashing and it doesn't like go full screen all the time and things like that. So, like that they just kind of burned me like with that. Plus Apple Arcade and
Right.
all of the amazing indies they keep snapping up. I was like, man, I need to get in over here on this Apple thing and then try to get over here and get this iPad going. So I bought one.
Did you get a Pro?
I did not. I got the Apple iPad 2019, like the recent regular iPad.
You know, you just reminded me of something. I want to go on a little tangent here.
It's like super cheap
So
though. It's like $270.
they aren't bad. They have a decent lifespan too. You'd probably be good with that one for at least about 4 years.
That's
But
good.
knowing you'll swap it out within like 5 months.
Yeah.
Um, so going back to this naming for Xbox, Series X is the name that we have now. But I was thinking about this the other day. Wouldn't
Well,
it have been
technically, the name we have is Xbox.
true? Yes, the Series X is the higher caliber.
That's like the model.
You're right. Wouldn't it have been nice? It would have solved all their problems of not sounding inferior, having a name that's easily recognizable. If they would have called it like Xbox 20,
The X20.
because it comes out in the year 2020. And iPad came out in the year 19. That's kind of how they refer to them. Xbox 20, you don't have to worry about the 5 being like a detriment because that's what they named their 360 is the
Yeah.
360.
I mean, I got to say, as someone who just bought an iPad, it's not that clear because not everybody adopts that. So a lot of folks call them like, this is the 5th gen iPad and this is the 6th gen iPad. And you're like, well, what does that mean? Like, which one is the new one? And the Pro versus the Air versus the Mini, like it gets a little annoying. But with a console, you wouldn't have that many SKUs, so it really wouldn't matter. I mean, I can get behind the idea of just being like, this is the Xbox 2020. Like, it's the Xbox that came out in 2020, and here's what it does. Like, I'm totally fine with that. And there's the Xbox 2022 and the Xbox 2025. Yeah, that's easy. It makes sense.
So in addition to that,
It's not as sexy though.
here's the sexy part. So you take that Xbox name and you put it in the marketing department, and the Roman numerals for 20 is 2 X's, X, B O X. Kind of make it nice and sexy looking.
Yeah, I'm not following you there. That's where I get off this train.
I'm sure somebody in like with visual graphic skills can make it sound better. You have
Jared,
like
get on that.
You have like the 2 X's with like a red, or no, it would be a green with a gray outline.
I feel like
and
you're
then you have,
making you're making the marketing pack for like the return of Rise. Like here's Rise in Roman numerals on the Xbox in Roman numerals. All the Roman numerals.
all the Romans. But anyway, I just want to go on a brief tangent about
like
that. because
Series X.
Xbox 20, I think, has a nice little simple and elegant name.
I
to
like
it.
Series X way more than I liked Xbox One.
Hmm.
So I think that's already an improvement because everybody is making fun of the Series X, and I'm like, you guys forget just how dumb it sounded when they were like, "This is the Xbox One."
Mm-hmm.
Like the entire crowd was like, "But it's not." We all saw the Xbox One. We know what that was. This is not it.
It was about the same size of the Xbox, the original
That's
Xbox.
true.
All right, so I think that's all I kind of wanted to interject there. But did you have anything else that you wanted to talk about before we get into some listener questions?
Nah, man. I think these questions will pull a lot out of us anyway. So
They'll suck out our souls.
that's good. I'm so happy. Thank you all for submitting the questions. It's always nice if you feel like that interaction. Folks actually want to listen to the show, be a part of it. Love
And
questions.
if you want to be a part of the show too, dear listener, you can either go into the Discord and tag us in the Xbox Empire channel, or you can always hit us up on Twitter under the Xbox Empire.
You know what? I do have something. No, I said I was teasing a little something, and just to give everybody an update, I was working on a little something, a little guest, and he did postpone. He did not cancel. He did postpone, and he's possibly promised me a little something. So I'm not even exactly sure what that means, but stay tuned.
Xbox Series X for Donnie.
Ooh, that'd be amazing. But stay tuned. I'm still working on it. I'm not gonna give up. Not gonna get these folks in the gaming industry. I feel like I'm starting to build a reputation. They're like, we can't get this guy to stop. Like, he won't go anywhere. He's everywhere.
Persistence pays off. I'm not going to be able to meet Ryan McCaffrey. He stopped talking to me on Twitter, so.
Oh no. Go to the IG okay. And you're going to California, right?
Yeah, I'll be
just
in San
go
Francisco
there.
next
Just
week.
go to the thing. Just you can walk in the company, right? Like the building.
It's no. I mean, you got to get security.
Go outside.
And go up there.
Right?
No.
If I'm telling you, if the '90s taught me anything, here's what you do: get yourself a boombox. Go stand on the sidewalk.
Just play some podcast unlocked.
That's it, man. Ryan.
Some Ride the Lightning. Okay, so let's get to these listener feedback questions. And again, like we said, you can hop on our Discord and shoot us a message over there, or you can also hit us up on the Xbox Empire on Twitter. Go, Donnie.
Okay, first question. I love this question. This question was for me.
Uh-oh.
Will Microsoft do a new UI on the Series X? The One X UI is complete trash. Skinny Matt.
So, there will be a little bit of a change, yes. It won't be like a huge overhaul, because if you have been in the Xbox ecosystem since the beginning, these dashboards constantly change with the times, and they constantly change. Like the
and this
beginning
has been
of
a
the
thing
Xbox,
since 360. Like
yeah,
360 had like 10 different UI designs.
Yeah, the original Xbox, I don't think changed at all. Actually, it did. There was one major change to the Xbox dashboard, and then the 360 started out with the blades famously, but then it went into this terrible ending spiral. Xbox One had famously not the best user interface. You were expected to use Kinect for a lot of the things to get settings and stuff like that.
It was all based on when the Xbox One launched, they were like so heavy into that Metro UI design with the Windows Phone and the Windows tablet.
Ballmer.
And they tried to do the whole thing across everything. And it's like, this isn't a phone. It's not a touchscreen. Using a controller is not the same thing. Like, this is bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So here's my thought is that, honestly, where we're at now with the release that I have, which I'm in the Insider program, so I don't know if you've seen this one.
The Insider one is out now. Everybody should have this current dash, yeah.
So the one that I have is actually really great. I like it a lot.
Okay, so here's where we'll differ a little bit. I'm kind of following you. The latest version of the Xbox interface is the best one that we've had. And it is quite good. It's basically the same thing as the cross-media bar from PlayStation, except instead of scrolling left to right, you scroll up to down, which I kind of like better anyway. Like, I like that, and I like the little tiles. I think there's some minor adjustments that you could do to make it better. I don't like that they lock like the amount of tiles like in your groups and your customizations, that you can only have so many and so many sizes. I really wish they just like let you go and like let you just kind of make it your own. My issues with the current design are more performance based than aesthetic. I like it now, but before I talk about the performance issues, I do want to say it makes sense that they would come out with a new UI. They have a new console. They'll probably dedicate more RAM to it. So I would imagine that they would. But your point sounds logical, because they've got to a pretty good place, and they keep talking about like this Xbox family of devices, and that doesn't really ring true if this one thing is like completely different than the other thing.
Right.
So I would imagine that they keep it somewhat similar. So here's what I would hope. The thing that I hate about the Xbox UI design now is performance. There are so many times when I turn on my Xbox that like all of my tiles don't snap in, that it takes a minute. So I get like the basic block, and then like 2 minutes later, my groups arrive and my Game Pass arrives, and I hate that. It's like, look, I turn on, I want that thing to load as instant as possible. So get this thing on the SSD, get it on the memory, and like just snap it in there. Like I've never had that issue with my PlayStation 4 ever. Since the day it launched, never had that issue. Another crazy issue that I've had, not all the time, but more than you would ever want it to happen. Like it happens enough that it becomes an issue. There are several times I turn on my Xbox and my UI like doesn't load. Like it's happened to me at least a dozen times. Yeah. And like I sit there and I wait for a minute and it just never comes in, and I gotta go do the hard reset, right? Gotta go unplug the thing.
Are you an insider or are you a general release?
I'm on the safest ring of the inside.
Okay. And have you reported that when it happens?
Yes. Yeah, I've reported it a few times. Take the snapshot of it just being blank and everything. Yeah, and it's just odd. And you got to reboot it. And like I said, it's not such a big deal that it's not, that it's like that I hate my Xbox or anything. Like it's fine. You just reboot it and it comes back. But it's annoying. And the other thing that I don't like about it's slow. Like that's ultimately, and it's slow. It's especially when you pan from anything that like loads in. So like if you pan to like a store tile, and you got to wait for that to update. And then like the mixer tile, you got to wait for that to update. And if you hit your menu and you got to go to the settings, and that's got to pop up. Like it, in comparison with like the Switch and the PlayStation 4, for example, getting in and out of menus, getting in and out of tiles and groups and things like that, it's so much slower than those. Like it needs to be a lot more snappier. That would be my biggest thing. But I do love what they're doing with the organization part of it. The organizing the apps, the different categories, the which ones on your console, which ones aren't. I love the newest thing that I don't think is out to insiders yet, where they've basically like regrouped all of your library. So before you used to open up your library, you just got hit with hundreds of tiles and stuff. Now you get hit with categories to dive into that stuff, which is really, really nice. But
it's interesting how many things, because it has, your subscriptions on there. So you have EA access and you have Game Pass on there. How many things are just, it really opens your eyes as to how many games that you're getting as a service.
And you don't have to load the app or the store to scroll through it. Like you can just say, hey, show me Game Pass, and it'll show you all the Game Pass games that you don't have installed. It's just like, hey, these are available for you to play. And you can just sift through that right there without even having to load the store, because boy, the store on Xbox is kind of a mess. Like the store, navigating the store. I can't tell you the last time I used my Xbox to go into the store. Now I just go to xbox.com and I manually search for whatever it is I'm trying to download, or the Game Pass app.
I don't. Sometimes I do when I'm in there looking, just kind of scrolling around just to see what's out there, like the new deals of the week or something like that. But most of the time I also look at the app or the sites. I just kind of see what's out there. Yeah. But as an aside, you had me thinking, this was Skinny Matt, right?
Yeah.
You had me thinking, it's not a UI. The thing that I crave the most, that I really, really would love to get from this next gen console, is a branded, from Microsoft, super high quality headset that supports, Dolby Atmos, that you don't have to have a little dongle plugged in, that just works, that uses the same frequency.
These things aren't even remotely related. You took a UI question and you turned it into headphones.
This is a user interface, sir. Audio is a user interface. But yeah, so that's just kind of taking a little turn there. The number one thing I want for this new console, and I would pay like $250 for it, is an elite caliber headset that just works wirelessly. Give me like a 12-hour battery in there, just an elite caliber that you can put next to your Elite Series 2 controller. Give me that. Give it to me.
Okay.
Skinny Matt, make it happen.
With the recent influx in Japanese game franchises coming to Xbox that haven't appeared on the platform before, what Japanese franchise would y'all love to see make the jump to Xbox? Mine is Danganronpa Collection, though I'm super hyped to see Final Fantasy 15 Final Fantasy 14 on Xbox. It comes from Ryan Turford over there at the Xbox Drive.
Bah.
Okay. I, I mean, obviously, I think everybody knows my answer to this question, but I want to. Xbox is doing a lot better in this regard than they were like even 2 years ago, right? So like we have you might need to help me here because I was writing down some notes and I didn't check these. I'm not sure. Like we now have Final Fantasy and Yakuza, and we've got like all of them, right? Most of them, a lot of them, the newer ones.
And Kingdom Hearts is also coming over.
We have Dark Souls, all the Dark Souls games, right? Valkyria Chronicles, you play on Xbox, right? And I think the big one, or at least the big one for me, like the one that I've enjoyed the most, Nier Automata.
Yeah,
I think that's available, so that's amazing. So which ones do we not have? Like we have Monster Hunter World, but not many. Is that the only one, right?
So
no
that's
other Monster
the only
Hunters?
one on Xbox, correct?
So
And
that
then
could be
the
a
only
space.
I would like to see. So here's one that the second version came out, and then following versions came out on Xbox, but the original Metal Gear Solid.
Okay.
That's never made its way to the Xbox platform, and
You
that's
mean like
one of my
the
favorite
like
games.
the SNES Metal Gear?
No, Metal Gear Solid. That's Metal Gear,
Right.
as the NES version.
Oh, you're
The
talking about
PlayStation one.
PS1 Metal Gear.
Yeah,
And that's not in the
yeah.
HD collection?
Nope, that has never made its way to the Xbox ecosystem.
Okay.
In the collection, it was omitted, and it was a download code for the PlayStation.
I gotcha.
So that's how they got away with that.
That's a good
So
one.
that's one I would love to see make its way over. I mean, I don't know if that's really the answer to your question here,
It's
but
not.
that's I'm so far removed from the Japanese game scene, though.
So I think there's a
Like,
big one that's not here. Obviously, I think it's a big one. It's not mine, but that'd be Dragon Quest. Is Dragon Quest on Xbox at all? I
I
don't
don't
think
think
so.
so. Isn't that only on Nintendo?
No, it's on PlayStation. But
Oh,
here's the
okay.
thing: like, not only do you not have Dragon Quest 11, which I played, I thought it was really good. I don't think it's a great 10 out of 10 thing that like it's got a lot of that. I wouldn't go that far, but I think it's good. It's like Pokemon
So,
good.
so here's the thing, though.
But we don't even have Dragon Quest Builders or anything like that either. Like none of the spin-offs. Dragon Quest
Yeah.
Warriors, you got none of it. There's like 6 or 7 Dragon Quest games that came out in the last 5 years. Xbox has none of them.
Here's the thing. As I fiddle with my camera here, people don't really play these types of games. I mean, being honest, on the Xbox ecosystem. We had Lost Odyssey. We had Blue Dragon,
Yeah.
Eternal Sonata.
Yeah.
We had a lot of these fantastic games that were Japanese inspired or Japanese developed.
But let's compare apples to apples, man. Those aren't Dragon Quest. Like Dragon Quest has built-in, like Final Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts. Dragon Quest has built-in fan base.
Sure.
Ultimately, like you all know my answer. What Japanese game would I like to see come to Xbox? Persona. Like those are the only real Japanese games that I really care about, and I don't even care about Persona, the RPG. I'm more talking about Persona Strikers. Give me all of the easier to consume Persona games. I played the Persona Strikers demo in Japanese on Switch, and it's fantastic. And I can only imagine how great it would be on X. But that would be the other ones that I wrote down just thinking off the top of my head. I don't know if Xbox has these or not, but does Xbox have the Tales games? I know people care about those. I haven't played them.
I don't think so. I thought
don't
those were
think so either.
PlayStation.
No More Heroes. You had one on 360. I played it, but you've never gotten another one. And then you didn't get Travis Strikes Again, right? It's only
I don't think
PlayStation
so.
4.
That's
And we're not getting No More Heroes 3. That's exclusive to Switch. But No More Heroes 2 and I think it's the Paradise Edition came out 360 and PlayStation 3. So those are cool games. But I think for the most part, Xbox has done a really good job in this place. Like I said, they've Kingdom Hearts, Final Fantasy. They've gotten the big ones. Platinum, like I just bought Vanquish, Bayonetta. So I just bought the remasters. They just came out this past week. That's what I'll start chewing on with the Division here. That's what I'm looking forward to. As we lead up to Ori, by the way, you said your next big release was some final whatever in April. Like you're forgetting Ori comes out in like 12 days.
I'm not forgetting that it comes out in 12 days. I still have to beat the first one.
It's not 12 days. It's like 15 days or whatever. But yeah, it's close. Ori is close. Ori is imminent. So very, very excited. But I think they've done pretty good in this space. I think a lot of the stuff that they could get now are like niche stuff. And I would include Danganronpa in that kind of space.
Nice. Excellent question, Ryan Turford. Thank you. And I know, Ryan, that you are a fan of these Japanese type games. Donnie is more in your wheelhouse here on this one for you. My best answer I came up with was Metal Gear Solid, so I'm sorry.
Switching to another Xbox podcast, Luke Lore wants to know, with the Arkham games exiting Game Pass soon, are we likely to see games cycle in and out of the service at a faster rate than we have before due to the service gaining momentum?
First off, shout out to Mr. Lore, by the way, for the Xbox Expansion Pass podcast. And he recently got a nice little present from the Xbox Pope.
Oh,
He
yeah.
designed a custom little
So
Xbox One X
jealous.
controller for him.
I've been
It's
trying to get one
fantastic.
of those for a year from Pope, man. All the time. It's so good.
But anyway, so with the Arkham games coming in Game Pass soon, likely to see games circle in and out of service at a faster rate than we have before. I don't think we would see it at a faster rate. I just think that there may be increased numbers coming in, and probably the same duration, right? Which would lead to more turnover because they're probably signing the same contracts, which says, "Hey, your game's going to sit in Game Pass for 5 months, and then we're going to, take it out, and then we'll reconsider a contract later on if we want to add it back in, yada yada." That's probably how it goes, and it's probably a standard contract, unless they have some sort of extensions or exclusions in there. But I wouldn't see any more of an uptick rather than just more people being invested in the ecosystem of Xbox. And I bet when you see the Series X launch, you might see, depending on the numbers of these new consoles, more people from third party perspective being intrigued or interested on just getting their games out there in that user base. You're not going to see it from launch aspects from Activision or EA. They're not going to put the next Call of Duty out there like we're going to get the next Halo on there. But I think you're going to get more people excited about it depending on the number of consoles that are sold through to consumers.
Okay. There's a good segue here, but I would just say that I think with a game like Arkham, and this is just me taking a wild guess here, that game sold, got the collection, sold remastered, sold all of it before it came to Game Pass. I'm wondering how many people are playing that game out of Game Pass, because that's not like it's not like a niche game. It's not like a maybe an underperforming game. Like, that game sold a bunch. It sold a bunch for a long time. All the fans that were interested in that game probably bought it at launch and at release, and then they definitely bought it the Black Friday after that.
A famous quote that I'm going to rebut you with from one Mr. Stanley, the great Stanley. Every comic book is somebody's first comic book.
Okay. All right.
So people missed the train when these games came out originally. This is their first time experiencing
Who's
them.
missed this train?
The 8-year-old that got his Xbox for his birthday.
Man, I mean, I guess you're right, but I just can't see that. I'm just wondering if maybe that's more the reason why it's not, so much that we're going to start cycling them out. It's just like maybe they put it on a Game Pass and they're like, not that many people are playing it, probably because they already own the game. Like, I already own the game, so.
Right, and I own it too, but I'm just, by the way, not 8-year-old, we'll say 13-year-old because it's rated T for teen.
Yeah, it's pretty tough there. But to segue, let's take a quick question from Kevin. What do you wish would hit Game Pass that hasn't yet? We talk about this every podcast.
So if we're just talking about games that are out there already that I would like to come to Game Pass,
I have a list.
I have a lot of games that I wish would come to Game Pass.
Wish or that you expect to? Because those are different things, right?
So if there's a game that I really want to play, I've got it. You know what I mean? But
no. I'm saying wish would come there, like that like is never going to happen, like Call of Duty, right? Probably not ever coming to Game Pass. Or like you expect, like I actually think this game will end up on Game Pass at some point.
Wish.
Okay. Because I've got 2 that I expect, 3 that I expect hit Game Pass, and then I've got one kind of question for you because I'm not sure if any of these will hit Game Pass.
So, one that I wish would actually come to Game Pass, and it's actually not too far off, would be Rainbow Six Siege.
Ooh, good one. That's good.
Because I've always been teetering on the buy button on that one when it gets, on those low sales. And, same with Ghost Recon Breakpoint.
All right, so let me, before this gets away from me, I wrote this down. Here's what I wrote down in response to this question. There's lots of Ubisoft options, but will Ubisoft ever put their games in Game Pass?
Well, they already have a lot in Game Pass, don't they?
Well,
For Honor, isn't that in Game Pass already?
That I don't know. I think they did Assassin's Creed for a minute.
Yeah, we had some Ubisoft games in Game Pass. I
But it
know
was
that
like
for
the
sure.
old one, not Odyssey, but the one before that, right?
Testing my knowledge here. Um,
Because like if you're thinking of Ubisoft, like Far Cry, Ghost Recon, like there's a lot of options that I think would be, could get some more life out of a Game Pass release. But I can't remember them actually supporting Game Pass a whole lot. They could do like Watch Dogs 2 up on Game Pass. Like they have a bajillion options actually. There's a ton of options they can throw up there. But to my knowledge, we haven't really seen a whole lot. They don't appear to be supporting Game Pass as much. And my theory is that's because of Uplay Plus. They don't want to do Game Pass. They want you to subscribe to them, and they want you to, but that's not available on Xbox. But it is available on PC. I don't know. It's interesting.
I think you're right. I mean, they've done free play days,
Yes,
and they've done games with gold.
I know they've done like For Honor free weekends, but I don't remember it being in Game Pass.
Right. For Honor, that might have been a games with gold game. I think actually, because I believe I have it, and I never bought it. But as for me, like I would think Ubisoft, like you said, there's a lot of games out there. I have all the Assassin's Creed games, so for me that wouldn't benefit me. But Breakpoint would definitely be one, as well as Rainbow Six Siege, that would let me at least try the game,
Yeah.
and see what it's like on Game Pass.
Yep. And then okay, so I have three that I expect. I expect these to hit Game Pass at some point. I'll say this year. Resident Evil 2. I think will hit Game Pass for folks at some point. Probably after Resident Evil 3 comes out.
Because other ones have been on Game Pass, I believe.
Yep. Borderlands 3. I
Yep.
think we'll find Second Life and come over and hit Game Pass at some point. Maybe just to keep the player base up and get some more money and keep people from trading it in and all that.
Kakarot, I fully expect to come to Game Pass next year.
That probably will. And then the last one I was going to say, like, I don't want to say this is definitely the big one just on prestige. I would download it and try it, but I'm not like, I don't think I'd ever buy this game. Sekiro.
I would actually love that in Game Pass, and I, like you, I wouldn't actually buy it, but I would try it.
I would
in Game
try
Pass.
it, yeah.
I wish Control would have come to Game Pass, to be honest, too.
Oh, it's coming.
Phil
Phil didn't just make that up. Like, it's coming. Like, he didn't just say it just to say it. Like, at some point, they had an agreement to launch Control into Game Pass, and I expect that'll happen.
Yeah, that'll probably happen at E3 or something like that.
Control
They'll say
is so
available
good,
to Game
Nathan.
Pass, which I need to play that still. I
It
did
is
buy
so
that on
good.
like
You
a
know,
$30
when they
sale.
release the Alan Wake experience, whatever, that'll be the perfect time, and you'll be like, oh yeah, and Control's out.
Yeah.
That's real good. That's real good. But those are the things. But Ubisoft is something I'll keep an eye on. I don't know if they'll ever be Game Pass, and it'll be interesting if Uplay Plus ever makes its way to Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
Then we'll have like Game Pass Ultimate Bundle, where we get EA, Game Pass, and Uplay all at the same, like all in one fee.
Game Pass Ultimate Plus.
Pro.
#sharp.
All right. Next question. Let's see here. Great question. Delvin Cox from PSXP writes in, what's your dream lineup for the Series X launch window? Can I go first?
You do one, then I'll do another one.
Ooh,
Let's
you want to go back and forth?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I'm not going to say the one then. So I'm going to start with this one. And when I wrote this down, here's kind of what my thought was. At some point, you and I should sit down, maybe get Sean or Josh or somebody to sit down with us, Luke, and talk about like this generation of Xbox and all that. Because when I think back on Xbox One, the one like striking change in my fandom from 2013 to now, it revolves around one game called Forza. I was never a Forza player until Forza Horizon 3. And now I love Forza Horizon, at least. And I will always, I think I am now like, I'm so in, I am now buying Forza Horizon anything. Like, the moment it comes out, this is entered instant
Forza
purchase
Horizon
category.
the cereal.
Yes. So my question is, I absolutely think Forza will be a launch game for Xbox because they always launch with Forza and they drop a lot of these. And I actually think at this point, I think Forza has a claim to be Xbox best IP. They release enough of them in quantity to outrank the quality of some of the other bigger, more established IPs, in my opinion. But here's the question that I have, Nathan. I don't think it's good. I'm not saying this is a prediction. I'm just saying, listen and hear me out. What are the chances they go Horizon again and not Motorsport
For a launch?
for launch? Like, what are the chances that we get Xbox Series X and it's Forza Horizon 5 and not Forza Motorsport? What, 6, 7, 6,
8.
8?
Yep, we had 7.
Wow.
Not going to happen because it's 8's turn. It's Motorsport's turn.
Yeah, but they
and
took the time off, right?
they've taken time off. They've been polishing it up, and you want to put the best looking polished game out there, and there's no better looking
Put the
game.
best game out there, and the best game available is Forza Horizon next.
The best looking game is going to be Forza Motorsport. Like the look, because with Horizon you have to build that big open world and everything else has to look good. With Motorsport, you focus on the cars, you focus on that detail, you focus on the reflection of the sun, all the ray tracing that'll reflect off of your driver's helmet.
Boring. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. If it were me, if I was running Xbox, I'd kill off Motorsport.
Motorsport still has its place.
I know it does, and I know it sells well. Like, I'm not even saying that, but if for me, it's just like we're doing Horizon over and over and over again, like just more Horizon all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But
so that was actually going to be if I had a dream lineup, my first game was going to be Forza Horizon 4 as a dream launch lineup because I prefer Horizon to Motorsport like you, and it would just be a great celebration. How fantastic of a way to kick off a new generation.
and that's why I kind of wanted to bring it up because I think it's ready. I feel like
it's not ready.
No, I'm not saying. I'm sorry. Let me reclassify. It's not ready as in like the game is ready. Here's what I'm trying to say. It's ready for that moment. Like Forza Horizon is ready for that stage. It is that game now. I feel like 3 put it on a whole new plane, right? Like it just 3 elevated the series to something that I don't think we ever had. We had all kinds of people, even our own community, that had never played Forza like me that were like, I love this game and I'm jumping in. And then they all jumped into 4, right? And it wasn't like the greatest thing, but they salvaged it with like the Lego. Now it's like we're primed. We're prime and ready. If they could hit on a great Forza Horizon, like the world would take notice. It would sell consoles. Like the time is now for a great Horizon. I would love to kick off a console generation with a brand new, like awesome Forza Horizon game, man.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be so good.
I would also, another game that I would put out there on a launch lineup. So we got our racing base covered. The other thing would be a Crimson Skies reboot.
You and just
what?
You and Ryan keep bringing up these things that have just long down died, and you just keep bringing it up. Like I hear this on Unlocked every other episode. It's like, let it die. What is with the Crimson Skies?
It is a fantastic game. It's really fun. It had a great multiplayer and a dogfight mode, and it had a decent story. It was just like a one and done, and I'd love to see it again.
You know why? Because people don't buy dogfighting games. They don't.
This is true. That's why we haven't seen like a Rogue Squadron.
I was just about to say, like, what dogfighting series is out there right now? Like, this isn't what people do, man. We have Battlefront for that.
Has good dogfighting.
And it's like an add-on at best.
Hmm.
It's like a little side mode.
Ace Combat still kicking.
Trying to Don Matrick the Series X. Don't do this.
No.
This is your dream. Your dream lineup is for Crimson Skies.
I would love Crimson Skies to come back. I'm not recanting. I'm not stuttering, am I?
I'd rather have
Crimson
Microsoft
Skies.
Flight Simulator.
You will have.
It looks so much better.
But so think of this. Crimson Skies could be the horizon to the flight sim. You know what I mean?
It can't.
It can be. It could be. You're so close-minded, Donnie. You're
It's
like
not
this before
fun.
you played Forza. Donnie, did I steer you wrong about Forza?
No, you didn't. I give you that. I've played Crimson Skies. I remember that game. It's not fun. It's not a party like Horizon.
You didn't play it like when it was first out, when everybody was just playing it on Xbox Live. Also, another game, a blast from the past.
We're going back and forth.
Go ahead.
Since you didn't say it, I'll say it. Halo Infinite. Obviously, that's the big one. That's the big one. They just announced some big esports partnership thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't know anything about because I don't care. I'm not going to play multiplayer.
I want MechWarrior.
Stop sucking up to Ryan. All
I'm
right, now
not.
that's all this
I'm not.
is. This is just some Ryan love affair.
No. I don't even know. I didn't realize that he said this. If I wanted to suck up to Ryan, I'd say Splinter Cell, which I
He
want that too.
says Mech
But
Warrior like every other week. He
have
talks
you?
about sitting in some chair with 18,000 buttons
That was Steel
10,
Battalion.
15 years ago.
That was Steel Battalion.
Oh, do I have the games wrong?
Yes, but I mean, I don't know. But
My
Mech
bad,
Warrior
Ryan.
is very fun. It's a great game. It is back in the day, at least it was, and
Mech
it's right.
Warrior.
It's right for this whole looter shooter aspect because you can
Warface.
find things to kind of upgrade your. Think of, I mean, they could take. I don't want to disparage this a little bit, but they could take like a little bit from Anthem, and say like these are how you build out your mechs. This is the mechs that you can make as you go through it,
Who is
and
they?
then the developers,
Who?
Microsoft,
Who's developing Mech Warrior?
Microsoft Game Studios.
And I guarantee you they're not going to be like Anthem, BioWaring Mech Warrior.
I mean, it would be exactly what you expect it to be.
This is a terrible
Um,
idea.
This is my dream, sir, not yours. And I have one more, but I'll let you go first.
All right, no. All right, so here's what I'm gonna do. All right, so here's what I wrote down: Xbox Series X launch, Halo, Forza, third party, Godfall, Outriders, Assassin's Creed, Dying Light 2. The reason I didn't say these because I think it's too early. It's too early for Everwild. It's too early for Hellblade, and it's too early for Gears. I think Hellblade will come in 2021. Does that sound about right? Maybe like summer, like after the console launches.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be ready for 20.
Yeah, neither do I. And then two lesser known talked about games that I absolutely would adore. And if they were on Game Pass when I brought my Series X home, these would make me very, very excited. And one would be Tunic, aka Zelda Fox. And the second one would be Playdead's third game that they teased back in 2017. They have a long Xbox ties with Inside and Limbo. And if that was a launch game, doesn't that fit perfectly in the every launch has that indie darling game that you come home and play? How great would it be if it was Playdead's third game? You'd know you'd be absolutely in for a treat for a great game.
I can see that. So my last one, not going to happen, but Dream again lineup is a reimagining or a remake, a la Final Fantasy VII, how they're getting that remake of Knights of the Old Republic.
It's your customary inclusion. You've met your quota for every episode. Congratulations. I guess, you know what, in that regards, I'll join you on that one. I mean, honestly, I don't know how realistic this is. I think it might be. I mean, if you go by the rumors, you have to think that it is. If Xbox Series X launches with, let's say, Halo, Forza, like an indie game or two like that, a third-party exclusive, and Fable, that's it, man.
Oh yeah, Fable.
Fable.
That's right. That was the other one I was going to say
A
too.
returning Fable, a big open world RPG, action RPG to go with your awesome, gorgeous looking racing game, to go with your awesome spacefaring shooter. I mean, like, it doesn't get better than that, man. Like, you give me those and Dying Light and Tunic, and I'm set for like the entire season. Now I got to figure out how I'm supposed to be playing Paper Mario and stuff, because I'm not going to want to play that if I've got these games to play.
Yeah, should be good.
That'd be great. I'm telling you, we're setting up there exists a reality where Phil Spencer, man, just throws haymakers at E3. He just comes out and just hits us with game after game after game, and not like they have in the past where it's all third-party games. Like, he could hit us with 5, 6 exclusives, in Xbox Series X, like first 12, 15 months to go with the third-party stuff that they're getting, to go with Game Pass and indies. And man, it could. I don't know if they will. I don't want to count my chickens before they hatch, but there is a reality exists that, you give us, how far are we out? 4 or 5 months now?
Yeah.
You and I are sitting there at the house party, just like, oh my God. Like, it's
watching the only conference.
Here's the thing though. We're not going to let anybody else on the stage. Like, they all have to work production. We're like, nope, your company's backed out. It's like, you're done. Get out of here.
Oh man, E3. I'm sad in a way.
It's not going to be that bad. It's just Sony. Like, Nintendo's going to be there.
No, but I mean, is Nintendo's not going to be there. They're going to have a direct around the time
No,
period.
they're going to be on the show floor. They'll be there. They're going to have demos
Oh,
and stuff.
okay.
They're not on the
Well,
website yet, but I mean, like, we have the head of America saying we love it, E3, and we're like, they're going to be there. They're going to do their thing.
the head of Nintendo America. Let's clarify.
Yes, that's true. They're going to be like, hey, you shut up. Quit talking to the press. Like, he's no longer the head. Like, we don't even know yet. He's already been fired. That's quite possible, Nathan. Nathan, how long are we going here? Oh, we're an hour.
I don't know.
So let's see here. Let me look at this. All right, let's
We got
do
a few more
Kyle's.
questions here.
Let's do Kyle's.
I want to finish out with Kevin's quickly.
Okay. With all the talk of Xbox launching a less powerful console alongside Series X, how does Xbox manage the marketing? Does Series X, Series S, Xbox One X, Xbox One S, and Xbox One S all digital all live on? If you're in charge, how do you structure everything? What lives, what dies, what's rebranded, and what are your price points?
That's a really good question. I do appreciate you for giving us that question, Kyle. So I totally understand why there's the two SKU approach, and ever since the Xbox 360, they've had this two SKU approach. But Sony hasn't, and it's worked out pretty well for them. I wish that for this next series that they would focus on one and focus on that Series X, whatever it is. And you launch with that one, that's your lowest common denominator. If I was in charge of Xbox, that would be what I would do. I'd say this is the Xbox, this is the console going forward. And then you focus on, instead of launching a two SKU approach, you do a mid-year refresh. And that mid-year refresh is then that little step-up console. And then you have both of those in there, because that lowest common denominator is that one. But now this new one, as we've seen with the X, gives you enhanced visuals.
You said mid-year.
Enhanced...
You're referring to mid-cycle.
Sorry, mid-cycle. Yes, exactly.
I
haven't had
they
anything to drink
release
yet.
an upgraded X 6 months after I buy it, Nathan, I'm going to throw it out the window. So mad.
As you should. But yeah, so let's say like 3.5 years into the cycle, they say, hey, guess what? We're going to move on to our half step here. And it continues on with the tradition that they've set with Xbox One, where they have this. Honestly, they've had it ever since the 360, where they released that redesign that was Red Ring of Death less. And then they redesigned the Xbox One with the S, and then they have that going forward. So it would still stand that test of time. All these companies redesign in some sort. So that's what I would do. I would forget the Series Lockhart, or whatever they call it, the Xbox One X and the One S. Those lineages would eventually fizzle out and die. Within probably a year or so. That's, I think, the approach that they're taking, giving people time to get into the new system if they are so inclined, while letting them play the games like Halo. And if they take the approach of, if you buy this SKU, if you buy this license, you can play this anywhere. You can play this license on your Xbox One X. You can play this license on your Xbox Series X. You can play this license on your PC.
Yeah, we already know
You just buy once.
Yeah.
Right.
But no,
So,
this is a bad plan.
Why?
Because I'll tell you why. You are diminishing the value and the power of xCloud, and that is the primary reason why you have two SKUs. It's not because they did it during 360. It's because they are focusing, as they've said, they're focusing on their competition being Amazon and Google, and the Lockhart SKU lets them put a powerhouse into the market. They're going to undercut their competitor by, I would imagine, at least $100, if not more. So you think we've got let's say we've got Xbox Series X at $500, $499. Is that like the going idea? $599 maybe? It's something like that, right? Let's say PlayStation comes in at like the same price, and then they come in at $399 or $349 with this Lockhart. It's got the SSD. It's just as fast. It doesn't have it can't go 4K 60, but it can go 4K 30. And with the power of xCloud, you can stream all of these games that your console doesn't have the beef to run, but it's future proofed because it's the power of the cloud. So you're basically trading brute force hardware power by just adopting a little bit of the cloud capabilities, and I think at a reduced price that gives people an option to make them think, like, hey, like maybe I can't afford an Xbox Series X, but they've got this other thing and it's almost as good, and xCloud, which I can do from my my tablet, and my phone, and I can do it on my computer browser, and all of this type of stuff. It starts to tie in together. Now, I understand Kyle's keeps mentioning all of the legacy consoles. I think with all things like this, when you launch a new product line, you just stop marketing the old ones. Doesn't mean they go away. Like, look at what Nintendo does with 3DS. Nathan, there are still 3DS on shelves all across America. Like, you can walk into any store and get one. So you just leave them there. If people want to buy them, they're in the know, but that's not what you market. You market the new Xbox in 2 different models. Super power expensive one, affordable one that's focused on it can do everything the other one can do, and with the power of xCloud, you don't have to pay the extra money if you don't want to. And now you're giving people, with Game Pass included, you're giving people the option on both sides of Sony to at least think about it, to maybe have to reconsider. You know, like what do we do? What do we always do? What do gamers do on podcasts? Well, what is grandma gonna do when she walks into the store and wants to buy little Johnny a console? Right? Well, that GameStop employee is gonna go, listen here, grandma. For $3.50 you can get Lockhart. For $4.99 you can get PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5, and for $5.49 you can get Series X.
Not gonna be $5.49.
Whatever it is.
That cap.
Whatever it is. You know, like whatever the numbers are. I'm not even really focused on like this one will be cheaper. So then you have to wonder, like, well, this one's cheaper. Is it not as good? And the person's like, well, no, it actually plays all the same games. And it plays it in 4K, and you can do streaming, and it has Game Pass. Like, it does all the same things. It's just cheaper. And I think that cheaper part, you know, money talks. That cheaper part, somebody's going to bite on that. That's not like something that nobody wants. I know you and I don't want that. We want all the Ks. But we're crazy. Like, we're not, like, we are enthusiasts. We are diehards. Most people aren't. And I think if you give them an option to play the latest Halo, Halo Infinite, and Fable, and Forza Motorsport in 4K for cheaper than the competition, like the cheapest option point, that'll be a tough sell. So I like the two-pronged approach, and I hope they stick to it. There are a lot of rumors that they dropped it. I think that would be a mistake. I think they made a huge, grave mistake last time when they thought that they were so popular that they could price above the competition. And now, to earn some of that space back, they need to make sure they price below it. Because if they don't, you're not giving, unless they got a lot of exclusives we don't know about, Nathan. But you know, it's not that. I've said this a bunch. I'm all in on Series X because I have Game Pass till like 2023. That's the reason. Like, I have just bought years of Game Pass. That's the only reason. But that's to say, like, we should not look at PlayStation as if their exclusives don't matter. Their exclusives matter a ton. They make the best games in video games right now. The Last of Us, Spider-Man, God of War, like, they're it. You've got to give people a reason to reconsider. Because you have to, like, if you're Phil Spencer, you have to assume that most people are going to want to buy a PlayStation. Because that's what they just bought. So what's the reason you're giving them not to? It better be power or savings. And I think with Lockhart, they could do both.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I mean, they could, but at the same time, that would also require, you know, you to have that good internet connection, which is also an issue, like we've seen with Stadia, things like that. Not to rely on that as a sole boon.
Oh, and it wouldn't. But, it would still have SSD. It would still have a processor, right? Like, it's just not as much. It's lesser RAM. Like I said, it can't do 4K 60. It's basically an X. Like, at least all the rumors, like if you go to Tom's Hardware and stuff,
I don't think the Lockhart would be an SSD.
No, that's or at least the rumors, the leakers, anybody that I could, like Thurrott, Tom's Hardware, they all say it's got the SSD.
I could see it be a hybrid with that cache being that, you know, like a 12 gig SSD with a 500 gig hard drive attached to it, like the hybrid model,
maybe
to help that caching. But
all I can go by is the stuff that I've seen, and from the insiders that we follow that claim to know this stuff, they all said that the lower model has an SSD. It doesn't have as much RAM. Processor's not as good. It can't do what the other one can, but it's similar.
I heard Kevin's an insider, by the way.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, he would know. He would know. Speaking of Kevin, yep.
We got a couple questions to end on with him.
Let's see here. Do you want to do the Halo one? I think we were
Let's
just
do
talking
them
about
all. Do them all.
Halo. If Halo is all they're really talking about for launch of the Xbox Series X machine, are you at all concerned with new content to play on the console, or concerned with a heavy focus on competitive and multiplayer for it?
You don't even know me, Kevin. I'm playing Apex Legends.
Yeah, he's insane. He's just playing, and I'm probably just gonna play Far Cry 5 again. Like I'm just gonna bring it home and download that again.
I mean, I will pop up on day one, Halo, play through the campaign, play through some of the multiplayer stuff because it'll be on Game Pass. I'll just have it. I will own it, which is amazing. This is gonna be the first console that
Yeah,
I don't buy a game for on
keep
day
talking
one.
about this.
It's gonna be amazing.
You just go buy the box and you're good to go.
Exactly. But I don't think that it's gonna be. I'm not concerned if that's their focus, and
They're
I,
gonna
I
have
know
other
that that's
games.
just gonna be one aspect. They're gonna be have there's I would be surprised if they don't launch with at least 3 first party titles at
Yeah, I
that
think
time.
that's fair.
So I think you'll have Halo, you'll have
Forza,
Forza, and I think the other one will be that wild card, which could be that Fable that's
Fable.
been rumored forever. But I think you'll have at least 3 to choose from, and they'll all just be available to you on Game Pass day one. Which, by the way, shout out to Podcast Unlocked. Paris was a guest on there from Gamertag Radio, and I think he was the one that posited that what they should do to combat PlayStation is give everybody that buys an Xbox, if it is the same price or more, 6 months or a year of Game
That's
Pass,
a lot.
just to be like, hey, you bought our box, thank you. Here's all of our games for that first year. That is an amazing marketing ploy and a great value
That's
proposition for
that's
them to
them
do.
eating a major loss. I don't know about a year, man. That seems like you're asking a lot. 3 months.
Services,
3 months.
the losses of certain, but hey, look at, if any company can take losses, it's Amazon,
No, you're
it's
right.
it's Apple, and it's Microsoft.
Yeah, you're right. They've got money to burn. You're right. I don't need to go trying to save them money. They've got billions. You're absolutely right. They should spend it. Give me 5 months more Game Pass. And I'm all about it. Like, yeah, all of
Mhm.
it. Yeah, there'll be other games. Like, I think it says a whole lot that when they unveiled the box, what was the focus?
Mhm.
Hellblade. They know what they're trying to do. Like, they're trying to change the way people look at them as Xbox Game Studios. Like, they know. And I
Mhm.
think we'll have updates, right? And that's the other cool thing. You remember all the Xbox One X enhanced? We're going to have all of that. Series X enhanced, Bleeding
Mhm.
Edge. Series X enhanced, Forza Horizon 4. Like, it's going to be
Series
like,
X enhanced Apex Legends.
yeah, we will. You're going to get that too. And, just to plug this here, if Dying Light 2 is a launch game, like that's I'm going to be playing that instead of Halo anyway. Like, and that's what Kevin should play.
Hmm.
And he should get his console because I'll have already bought all the games and he can just download and play it as well. Because Dying Light, man, people are sleeping on it. I feel like it's crazy. I see a game that I've never seen before, like an amazing new next gen video game is what I see when I see Dying Light 2, and I don't feel like anybody's talking about it.
Yeah, I think it needs a little more time in the mainstream to get that exposure for sure.
When people play it, when they see it, it's next level.
Mhm.
We already did the other one. So he says, who would win in a whiskey fueled bar fight? Nathan just
Between-
Kevin just came in like the Joker, snapped the pull stick and threw it down. Nathan,
Tryouts. So here's the thing: if it's a whiskey fueled bar fight, if we're both sitting at this counter
I don't think
and we're enjoying our whiskey,
I don't think
will only
you
be
can
like.
get the kind of whiskey that you want at bars that I go to.
So here's the thing: I'm gonna be my first whiskey, and you'll be like 5 in. So I'm still gonna have a little bit of my wits about me because
I'm going to be
savoring
completely
my
functional in 5 whiskeys in. That's not a
I'm-
problem, man.
I'm savoring my scotch a little bit. I'm still, my equilibrium is intact.
So is mine. Mine, Nathan, I don't think you understand. 5 whiskeys in, my equilibrium is enhanced. It's just like I'm a super version of myself.
That's what we all tell ourselves. But I think so. Here's what's going to happen: is I'm just going to laugh it all off because when I get inebriated a little bit, I just get super slap happy. So I'm just going to laugh
I do
whatever's
too.
happening off,
Yeah.
and then we're just going to have a good time.
No, you're spot on. Everybody that knows me tells me that I'm better. I'm like a social drinker. I'm better when I'm drinking. I'm a little happier. It's just crazy because you hear these stories and you meet people that say like I get angry when I get drunk, and they're like
Well,
I couldn't be further from the truth. Like I'm angry when I'm not.
I'm not angry. I'm disappointed.
It's just like I'm just grumpy and just ornery when I'm not. Like I need that to like chill out. I can't imagine drinking the other way around. Like why would you ever drink? That sounds awful.
Yeah.
But
Which, by the way, our our patrons will see a little something extra in their feed about whiskey soon, if it's not already there. So, dear patrons, look forward to that. Hopefully you enjoy it. Let me know what you think.
Yeah. And then the last one is, what movie to game adaptation do you want to see and why?
I have two answers. So one, I don't know if you could count it as a movie or a game to movie because it kind of was a movie, then it was a game. But I would love to see, again, filling out that quota, Donnie, Knights of the Old Republic made into a movie because it was
You
fantastic.
got to at least pick an Xbox game.
It was. That was an Xbox game.
I know it was on Xbox, but you have to pick an Xbox game.
Like, I have to pick like an exclusive game, right?
No, don't try to bend your... No, you have to... An Xbox game.
My second answer, which is actually more in line, which would I would actually like to see, would be, it's not an exclusive to Xbox, but I would love to see a Splinter Cell movie. Because that was actually got a lot of potential to have a nice spy thriller type movie.
That might be a better movie than the game. That'd be good.
Possibly.
Forza Fast and the Furious.
No, no. But they did do, for Forza Horizon 2, they did do a Fast and the Furious like free release.
You could get like the Super, right?
I don't know. I don't remember what it was, but it was like super short. And it was like really, like Ludacris was narrating it. It was actually Ludacris, and you drive like the different cars from the movie. Which, by the way, shout out to DLC again, if you like Fast and Furious.
Yeah.
If it's about family.
Dude, DLC is bringing it. It has been brought. And we've got announcements coming for DLC and the future of Patreon, some changes and stuff. I keep teasing around them. It's coming. Give me a couple weeks. I got some things. I'm trying to line up some things with some other things. So we're working on it. I just got this question on Shaq like 2 weeks ago. And somebody said something Fire Emblem, I think. Maybe that's a good one. But on the Xbox side of the house, I guess like a Gears movie like might not be awful. You know, like Gears kind of sets it up to be like, yeah. You know, it could be like, you could get like Sly Stallone in there, all muscled up, like shooting guns and stuff. Like,
have it be old Marcus.
Yeah, like you could. I don't know about Marcus, but yeah, like you could do something like that, and it might be terrible. It might not be. I don't know. I don't want to watch a Halo film. Although I hear the ones on Netflix are quite good, but I never got into them. I remember Lobo was telling me that he liked those.
There's one that was okay. Nightfall? No, not Nightfall. It was whatever one where the chief saves the kids from the school or whatever it is. That was okay.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. Like, I wouldn't want to watch a Fable movie or a series.
You know, a series for Fable wouldn't be bad. You know, think Witcher, but more like fun.
Jokey.
That could be.
See, and then it comes off as cheesy and lame. That's what I'm thinking. Like, I think some of that gets by when it's a video game. That I don't know if it gets by as a... Critics of film are tough, man.
If you put like the writers of like Silicon Valley to the task,
like fart jokes and stuff like that.
No. You'd have some inside jokes there. I'm sure it'd be all right.
Okay.
I think we're done, Donnie.
Yeah, I think that's it. Hellblade.
I think we're done for this month.
Can you do Hellblade on screen?
Hellblade's already
really
kind
good
of a movie.
stories. It is kind of, and that's what I was trying to think. Like,
it's more of an interactive.
Do some audio type things with the voices coming from different sides of the speakers in theater.
Make use of Atmos for sure.
That'd be good. Be good. I'd be down for that.
Final word is Mr. Reese. What you got?
That's it, man. I'm done. I'm ready to nap. Like, I've been up all day.
He's finished. Where can people find you?
At Play Nintendo. On Xbox, on PlayStation, on Nintendo, on Twitter, on everything. Everywhere. Mixer. All the things.
Can you read off our thankful list of patrons for this episode?
I can.
And I will shout out again our Twitter, which is the Xbox Drive. That's a different show, but you can go watch them too. And watch
how did you, like, how many episodes is this? We're on 23? You've done that 16 out of 23 episodes. Now, here's the thing. At this point, Nathan, it's just starting to sound like you don't want a podcast. Like, are you envisioning me as Sean? Like, do you think I'm Sean? Like,
you're not?
I started to take it personally.
Georgia Handsome, Sean Capri. Sorry, it is the Xbox Empire. You can follow us there, and you can follow me on Twitter if you want for some strange reason. I'm posting about whiskey more often now, so you can do that over at Voice by Nathan.
There you go. And yes, as we do in each and every episode, we'd like to thank all of those that support us at our producer level over at patreon.com/PSVG. So thank you, Callow, Barry Cathcart, Josh Borboni, Yeah, I was going to say Josh Borboni Bonesaw. No,
Mm.
it's Josh
The bone
Bonesaw
saw.
Borboni, Coach Mo, Chris McElfresh, Devin Tyus, Kyle Heyman, Paul Calicote, Michael Masick, and the Egg Shin Zach Bradshaw.
Very cool. Thank you all for your support of everything that you've done for PSVG. Hopefully, you guys enjoy all the DLC that you've been feeding into, and you'll find a lot more, as Donnie alluded to. So that'll be it for the State of the Xbox Empire for this month. We thank you all for listening, and the state of the Xbox has never been stronger.
Bye.
All right.